The Contessas were a mid-1960s Inland Empire singing quartet that was the brainchild of former IE resident and future Grammy Award winner Jimmy Webb. The group members were Alice Wheaton, Susie Horton, Suzanne Weir, and Sharon Johnson. Alice was from Redlands, Susie from Colton, Suzanne from San Bernardino, and Sharon from Bloomington. The roots of Jimmy Webb's involvement with the Contessas date back to his 1963-64 senior year at Colton High School in California. It was there that he met fellow senior Susie Horton. Horton was a dancer, captain of the Colton High drill team, a member of the high school choir, and the football homecoming queen. Webb was the musically talented new kid in school transfer from Oklahoma. His father had moved the family to Colton when he took a pastoral position at a Baptist church in the city. By the end of the 1963-64 school year, Horton and Webb became a couple. After high school graduation, both headed to San Bernardino Valley College, where Horton became a member of the SBVC choir. Webb became the piano accompanist for the group. Webb at the time was an aspiring songwriter intent on breaking into the music industry. He needed a group to demo the songs he was composing. He handpicked the 4 members from the Valley College choir. He then began the process of shaping them into a singing group, the Contessas. It was determined that Suzanne would be front and center as the lead singer because of her 4-octave range voice, and the other 3 would be the backup vocalists. The Contessas performed at a variety of local venues. This San Bernardino Sun newspaper notice had them performing at a junior women's club and School of Hope haunted house in October 1965. Enter George Clements, who fronted the money and teamed with Jimmy Webb to record the Contessas' first 45. Clements produced while Webb arranged and conducted the session. No expense was spared as members of the legendary Wrecking Crew studio musicians were booked to play the backing instrumental tracks. Among those performing were former Inland Empire resident Hal Blaine on drums, Tommy Tedesco on guitar, Joe Osborne on bass, and Larry Knechtel on keyboards. After the session, drummer Blaine was particularly encouraging to Webb, telling him, "I know this is all confusing, but you just stick with the music, okay?" The A-side was "This Is Where I Came In," and the B-side was "I Keep On Keepin' On." Both sides of the single were composed by Jimmy Webb. The E in E Records was a nod to E Street in San Bernardino, where cruising was the name of the game for Inland Empire youth. The publishing company for the tunes was Purdue Music. Purdue was local slang for San Bernardino. Meanwhile, Jimmy Webb acquired an entry-level position at Motown's Jobette Music Company Incorporated as a staff songwriter. It was this connection that Webb hoped would boost both his songwriting aspirations and the singing career of the Contessas. In Jimmy Webb's 2017 book, The Cake and the Rain, he spoke about the last days of the Contessas. He wrote, "The Contessa's single fluttered unsteadily toward the sky and rock and roll heaven in the summer of '65 and came up short, plunging to earth after a few short weeks. Still, the ladies had created enough excitement that Motown West Coast president Mark Gordon offered them a recording contract at Motown. It was exactly as I had pictured it. And then, unaccountably, the Contessas began to talk about breaking up. Almost simultaneously, Mark Gordon resigned or was canned at the label. I found myself superfluous, and Jobette let me out of my songwriting contract." Sharon went back to Colton and married guitarist Greg Waitman. Alice went home as well and enrolled in classes with the intention of pursuing her dancing aspirations. Suzanne Weir threw up her hands at the unpredictability of show business and headed back toward academic circles. Susan Horton ended up at an insurance desk installed in an imposing skyscraper that stood just west of MacArthur Park near Wilshire Boulevard, and thus ended the tale of the Contessas' singing career. But for Jimmy Webb, his involvement with the Contessas was about to pay off dividends in the future. After leaving Motown, Mark Gordon became the manager-producer of singing group The Fifth Dimension. Remembering Jimmy Webb's work with the Contessas, Gordon paired The Fifth Dimension with Jimmy Webb in a relationship that was to be beneficial to both. The Fifth Dimension is seen here with engineer-producer Bones Howe and Jimmy Webb. The group recorded Webb's song Up, Up and Away. The tune was released as a 45 in the summer of 1967 and reached number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. The session drummer for the single was none other than Hal Blaine, who had encouraged Webb during the Contessa's first recording session in 1965. Up, Up and Away won 6 Grammys, including Record and Song of the Year for 1967. Mark Gordon is seen here to the right of The Fifth Dimension and Jimmy Webb at the February 1968 Grammy Award ceremony. Jimmy Webb's off-and-on relationship with Susie Horton would end up being a goldmine of inspiration that Webb would mine into such classic songs as Richard Harris's MacArthur Park, the Brooklyn Bridges' Worst That Could Happen, Glenn Campbell's Wichita Lineman, and By the Time I Get to Phoenix. But that's a tale to be told at another time. Stay tuned for a performance by the Contessas of their single, This Is Where I Came In, aired on the Chivalry TV show on October 30th, 1965.